just, we have no one muted right now, except if you've self-muted. So shout out or throw it in the chat. What's coming up for you, and what support are you wanting right now?
Natalie, what's coming up for me is that I moved to Utah, but like all of my team is gone. So it's almost like I'm starting fresh here, which is fine because I want to grow my team here. However, like I'm a little bit hesitant about how to meet the requirements when I only get to count one online class. Not the enrollment requirements for myself, but more like the 14 team ones when it will all be me. And I'm kind of fresh. So what insights do you have there?
I hear you, Katie, and that's a tricky situation because you're wanting to build and support teams up in Oregon.
Vegas, California, Kansas, and Pennsylvania. So all of my main builders are not here.
Right.
So
one of the things that with these new requirements, I want you to remember that you can still travel, right? And be able to leverage the travel. Katie, if you could wave your magic wand and support teams in Oregon, Vegas, what do they really need right now?
I mean, I think it could serve at least half of them for me to go and teach a class there for sure.
Yeah.
I just to weigh the best way to do that. So I am having some ideas come to me.
And that's what I feel like, Katie, is they need you again, right? You've been out of some of those spaces, and just bringing your energy back to that can really relight those teams. And some of those leaders are at a different place so that they can receive it and then move forward and create and develop their own leaders through the process. So one of the things I want you guys to consider, like Katie, in these situations, you may not need to, maybe you need to do 2 classes and then a builder training, right? In each of these areas. And if you're wanting to make sure and not be away very much and leverage that time away from your family really well, you may have like 3 trips back to back where you're going from, you do a hopper down to Vegas, then you're heading to Oregon, and it's just going one right after the other. So I think you can leverage that the online class, but I think they need you in person to get things fired back up again. So leverage that online class every month, but you get out and do those other classes and just use your Utah class as a backup, right? Those are your fallback options. For your plan around the other. How's that feel?
Yeah, that sounds good. I think that I can manage that if I just plan it correctly. So that's what I'm doing today, actually, is planning that correctly. So we'll get on it.
Awesome. And the ideal layout is going to depend on your team, but we worked on a schedule because you can maximize that time away and really get it in, right? Like if she's going down to Vegas, maybe there's a Thursday night class, a Friday morning builder training, a Friday night, even different class, right? Maybe it's a different class that's more interactive, or a spa night type thing. And then she's doing one more Saturday morning class. So she's leaving on a Thursday afternoon and she's home Saturday by noon, or 1 or 2. I can manage that. Yeah.
Yeah, good insight. I was planning on doing stuff like that, and then when they changed the requirements, I think it kind of messed with my head just a little bit. And I thought, oh wait, I need to stay here, and yeah. So that's a good reminder that I can still do that. That was my original plan anyway. So
I think that the success of Diamond Club has been that it gives that permission in our mind to go out and do those trips and make it happen and be on the ground. So don't let the change in requirements knock you. Katie, I think this is a really good point, because I think it could, you know, shift all of our mindset away from what we really need to do, which is, we know the belly to belly works. So we're just bringing it on the belly to belly again. And I also see, you know, if we're looking at the long-term plan, right? So we've got March, April, May, and June. Those are your 4 months that you're tracking. To me, March and April are your key months to be with them and with your people. And then May and June are your empowerment months. And of course, everything you're doing is leading to that end, but you may be doing a little more hand-holding through March and April, and then transitioning to just total empowerment in May and June. So I hope your travel is looking like half of what it is, half of what you're on full travel in March and April, half travel in May and June.
that
Got
totally
it?
makes sense. Yep, got it. Thank
Welcome, Terese. Awesome. Next question. Who's up? What else is up for you?
Natalie, could you just, for those of us that are very new, could you kind of like, some of the things I'm a little bit confused, like when I was looking at like the qualifications and the benefits, like just like who counts? So like, okay, so it says new members first order, so member enrollments. It says 70 PV not on your team, 1 point. What does that mean?
Huh. Amy, I need to look at that personally, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Because not on your team, like we're not even counting enrollments that are not on your team, right?
Yeah, so I'm super confused by what they mean by that.
Okay, let me just send something to Ruby so we can get some clarification on that. Keep
I
going.
think what they're meaning is that for the ranks, for the standings and the prizes and stuff at the end, that if you have other people at your events that are not on your team and they enroll, you still do get to count 1 point for each of them.
Okay.
Okay, so if I'm holding an event, a leader comes to my event, they enroll someone, I get a point for that if it's 70 plus PV. That's what we think it is.
Anyone else have more clarity there?
I don't have more clarity, but now I have more questions. So when you're saying, so what counts if I go to one of my Frontlines classes and I'm there, do those enrollments count, or it's not because I have to actually host in my home, or I have to be the teacher? Like,
No, you can be the host or the teacher. I mean, it just means that you're present. So a Diamond Clubber needs to be present to offer the Diamond Club specials and have those count as towards your enrollments. Okay.
okay. So what was it that they just said? If they're not on your team and they enroll, then you still get a point. Like who is that that's not on my team that's enrolling?
So because in doTERRA we have a lot of events open cross team, like a lot of times, you know, so maybe you do an event down in Phoenix and somebody comes from another team, you know, they're already signed up someplace else, they're already a customer, or no, not already signed up, but you know what I mean. They've got a team and that team just referred them to come to your class. So you're keeping them with the person that referred them to the class, but
Not enrolling them, they're enrolling somewhere else outside of my team, but I still get, okay.
Yeah. I'll clarify with Ruby while we're on this call so I can make sure and give you the go ahead on that at the end. Sharon, can you reach out to Ruby on that?
Yeah.
Thanks. What other questions for you newbies? Anything else that you're like, I don't get how this goes? Do you want to go over the basics?
Yes, please.
That'd be great. Thank you.
As soon as we,
You're on mute. Oh, maybe you know that.
okay, as soon as we get the planner over from Laura, we'll go through that as well, okay? But let me start out with a couple more overarching things that you want to keep reminding, and just mute if you've got stuff around you. Make sure that, again, you're keeping that perspective that we talked about in the beginning, that this is to help you build and strengthen your team and develop leaders in your team. And you always want to keep Diamond Club with that perspective in mind. I like these new requirements because it's helping do that, right? Before, I would have people that just got distracted. They needed to hit their 18 enrollments, which is what the requirements used to be. And so they would drive up to Idaho to do a class for somebody else that wasn't even on their team, right? And just to hit those enrollment numbers. So keep it in check, keep your perspective on your team and strengthening your team. And that's the intention here.
Can I clarify a question, Natalie? Mm-hmm. So those enrollment numbers, if someone else is there that's in Diamond Club, because I have a few of my people in Diamond Club, they don't count for me though, right? Like only if I'm at classes with team members that aren't in Diamond Club, then those will count. Like if they're enrolling people, right, that counts towards my 14. But if say I'm at one that Heather's at and she's enrolling people, that's not going to count towards my 14. Is that correct?
So if you and Heather are at an event together, so let's say you and Heather and Julie are all at an event together. Julie's people, she's going to enroll the people on her team. Heather's going to enroll the people on her team outside of Julie's team, and you're going to enroll the people on your team that are outside of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but so none of their people that they're enrolling though count towards my 14 team.
So it's
only for people not in Diamond Club.
One person, and you've got to decide who that person is, right?
Okay, yep, just want to make sure I was clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Good question.
But Natalie,
yes.
So if I go and help with an event for several people in my downline, and they have people that they have invited and they are enrolling under them, do those count for me?
Yes, because none of those people are doing Diamond Club. So the only issue comes up is when you've got like the 3 of you doing Diamond Club from your team, then you need to decide, then you have to decide. But Julie, you're the only one doing it on your team. So all the whatever enrollments are happening at those classes that you're at, everything can go under you. When you don't have someone else there. Does that make sense?
Right.
If Amy's there helping out at a class, then you could decide, if she has some people there, or if she needed a couple of enrollments and you're already over your 14 or whatever, you could work
well
way.
So here's a situation. We have a study coming up, and we have the closing night in 2 different places. So if I were to get Amy or Heather to go to the alternative place, would those count for them or for me since they're on my team?
You have to be at the event to be able to count it for you. But if you're at that closing event and they're on your team, then they should count for you.
You're there.
So Julie, what we were planning on, that's why we're doing 2 nights of closing. So you can be both nights at different locations and group your people together. You guys are north, I'll come here and I'll be there on Tuesday. You guys are all south. You guys all get in one location and I'll be there. That's why we broke up a 2-night closing, so you can get to everyone.
Okay, that sounds great. So during this next 3 months, I'm sorry, I'm so new to even the idea.
Go.
So in the next 4 months, anybody on my team who enrolls, if I am actually present, even though I didn't enroll them myself or sample them, then they count for me.
Yep.
Woo!
Absolutely. Isn't that
You're so cute.
Oh,
amazing?
excited.
I know. I know, because
My wheels are spinning.
Mhm. It opens up all new possibilities, right?
Yes.
Really powerful.
So just two, Julie, two of those you have to enroll yourself out of the 14, but 14 is required, right? What if you don't hit that requirement in the month? Are you kicked out?
You do not receive your $300 your $300 bonus for doing Diamond Club. And I believe in the past they've done like, hey, we're going to give you a grace month if you don't quite hit, and then you're going to have one more month to try and hit. I am not sure exactly how they're going to do this, so I won't just say, hey, it's going to be an automatic, but I think the whole purpose, doTERRA wants you all to succeed. We as sponsors want everyone to succeed, right? So that it's not like, hey, you got 13 enrollments, we're going to cut you off from Diamond Club right now. They typically will give you a grace month.
Is there any sort of image or something to show or take with what the incentives or specials are for the people?
Yes. And we are actually, I haven't seen anything great from doTERRA, but we are gonna tie something in now that we know what the monthly special is for this month, the 15% off. And so we'll wrap that into one graphic and we can get that out to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Natalie, it's Julie again. So sometimes at the beginning of something, it's nice to set a big goal. But where I've never really seen this before, I just want to know kind of what to shoot for, what's possible, what do the winners do? I want to just hear it so I can have it in my head.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And there's been all kinds of winners getting there lots of different ways, right? Let's look just a second at those prizes. So I'm just going to share the screen. So we're looking at, first of all, the winners do classes. And, I'd have to tell you that most of the winners I've seen are husband and wife pairs that split up as well, and they each do classes, right? Because that gives you another person that could be at another location. So that's one thing to consider. Maybe your husband wants to become an oil class teacher by the way.
And a question for that, does our husband need to be signed up on our account? Do we need to go through that process first? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Great.
Oh, Kirk Brown is going to be so excited.
So that's what I've seen. That being said, I think I've just seen usually the grand prize winners, they've separated and they've done double duty, right? But I've seen everything else won by, even at the incentive trip, they were giving the winners of Diamond Club and, Hannah Holler, not married, no partner, like she's winning a Diamond Club just with enrollments and events. So people get creative to win Diamond Club. They are doing booths where they're meeting a lot of people and they're closing enrollments at those booths. They are rank advancing as well. See these rank advancement numbers? That is part of happening if you really are going for the win. To me, it's helping people enroll at that 200 PV plus point, right, as well. and I'm seeing this 70 plus PV not on your team. That is trying to give people some incentive for helping somebody else that comes to their class. That makes sense to me now. But do you see how it's weighted heavily for your team, right? And these are just the bonus, just a little touch of an ad. Also, doing the lifestyle overviews is key. Make sure you're doing those, whether they are in a group setting that you're doing online, and people can plug into that, because then you're going to turn up your LRP rewards right here. Look at how you can get 4 points from 100 PV LRP, and you can earn this for the first 2 months after they enroll. So, you know, let's say you enroll them with a, I hope you guys all know about the, we worked really hard to get that $250 kit back. That's 200 PV. And they said they were going to have graphics to us today. So we'll pass that on.
The shopping sprees back too?
Is
the credits, like the 100 PV credit at the higher levels?
We're working on that. So
okay.
no,
still in the works.
No solidified word there. But so that is the home. There's so many home kits. I can't even remember what that one's
yeah.
called. But that one's amazing. Sharon, I'm wondering too, while we're talking, I'm like, okay, I want to share this graphic as soon as we get it done so you guys have this. What's the best way to do that? Would it be that we create a little Voxer group and we can drop that in the Voxer group? Do you want a Facebook group where it's just Diamond Club Ninjas and we can drop that and call recordings into? What do you guys prefer? Can you type that in the chat or shout it out?
I prefer Facebook personally.
Yeah. Facebook. What else?
And also, Natalie, Terese was saying that they told her her husband had to be in the account for it to count. So maybe we could double check on that. Just because we would want to add our husbands if that is the case, but maybe it's changed.
Terese, who told you that? Was that in a previous Diamond Club?
Yeah, so that was, gosh, not this last Diamond Club that I did, but the time before.
Okay.
When I called to say, could my husband go and do classes? They said he could, but I needed to put him on my account. So we did that at that time.
Okay. And how are you doing it? How are they having you do it these days just to add him to your account?
You have to, there's a form. It's on the, I could look for it and post it if anyone needs it. But there's a form that has different things of changes you're trying to make on your account. And one of them is add a co-applicant. So you have to fill out that section. You have to also fill out a new wellness advocate agreement with him on it. And you have to send both those in.
Okay.
I think you send it to data entry.
Data entry at doterra.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharon, I think if you can't just Google search for that Ruby could get us that. So we'll drop that in the chat as soon as we have that. That's really good to know. Thank you, Terese. They were not that technical before, but it sounds like we want to just be technical and hit that and take care of it so it's all handled, right? What was that? Okay.
Natalie?
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to ask, it seems like I heard there was some sort of an incentive that if you're present at a class, everybody who enrolls gets something, or everybody who orders gets something that kind of incentivizes our teams to have us present. Is that true?
Yeah. So Julie, it's right here. New members that enroll with the 100 to 299 PV are going to get Citrus Bliss. those that enroll 300 plus PV are going to get Citrus Bliss and Adaptive. So just so you're leveraging this, let your people know, hey, I want to help you and your people get these extra incentives that are available. I think that Adaptive push is going to be totally great. So whether I think that's going to help people push to the Natural Solutions Kit a lot. Or you can do this 200 PV kit, the new kit, right? And add on Lifelong Vitality, add on Lifelong Vitality and a Yarrow Palm, whatever, to hit that 300 PV threshold, right? Oh, Sharon, you're already hooking us up. You guys see that link? And we will, Sharon, if you could start us a Facebook or Diamond Club Ninjas page real quick and get that shared here, we'll get you guys all in.
Natalie, I think they get also 25 LR or 25 points when they set up their LRP. I don't know what the LRP has to be.
100. It's when their LRP is 100. It's right down there below.
Yeah.
I can't see the screen anymore. Are you guys seeing it still?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Here, I'll try it one more time.
Oh, yeah.
So if they get 100 plus PV LRP the month following their initial order, they get 25 LRP points.
They do?
Yes, they get that. So it's an incentive for them.
Isn't that awesome? Woohoo!
Yeah, amazing, right?
And
So,
you said that's 100.
Yep.
It's all on the website too, Julie. So if you are completely sure and taking notes, everything's there on the Diamond Club page. And a question with the wellness overviews. So, you know, if I go to a class and my gal has got 10 people there and, you know, we're enrolling them, they're her enrollments, is she doing the wellness overview, or I need to go do with those 10 people everyone's wellness overviews? Like, I don't know if there's hours in the day for all the classes and everyone's wellness overview, or do you just...
It is not clarifying that here. So for me, it's great to have your people do that. You would just be doing the lifestyle overview of your personal enrollments, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So the only qualifier is whether they get on the 100 PV LRP or a 50 PV LRP, right?
Okay.
So get them on LRP and you get the additional points.
Got it.
Yeah, that graphic will be super helpful, Natalie. Thank you for when that comes out in advance. So we can have that at all of our classes and really just...
And we'll make one generic one that is the special for all 4 of those months. It's just nice when doTERRA has other specials that it's all just condensed into one.
Yeah.
So you're not like, and there's this, and there's that, and there's the other, right? Awesome.
So if you're signing somebody up who is out of state, is there a way to get the points without being present? You may have already said this, but it's all so much.
So it's that one online class that you have per month that can count per month. So that online class you are going to build up to and get all those people that are prepared, that your teams have prepared out of state or they can attend that one online class, and all those enrollments can qualify for that Diamond Club special and to be counted for you.
Question, Natalie. I thought that it said on the website that it was 75% had to be live. So like if you're doing 10 classes, couldn't you have more than one online? Couldn't you have 2?
That's a great. 75% of monthly enrollments must be in person.
They told me that it is 1/4 of all your classes can be online. So if you're doing 12 classes, then you can do more.
So great awareness that we need to make sure that we're not keeping it just in the limiter of 4 classes and one of those can be online. So if you did 16 classes in a month, you could have 4 online classes. If you did 8 classes in a month, 2 of those could be online.
Awesome.
So do the math, and guys, don't think about a class so rigidly as well, right? What's the requirement for a class actually being considered a class?
2 people have to enroll. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. So, for example, could you have a class at a coffee shop where you're meeting 2 people that are ready to enroll? Yeah, that can count as a class, and then that allows you to do another online class. So, I mean, if I were you, I would get a couple online classes already set and get your people inviting to those online classes, so that that's really, you're leveraging that there.
So
Right.
if you hold a class, Natalie, and let's just say 4 people attend, but maybe only 1 enrolls that night. If you get the other one to enroll later, will that?
Yes.
That'll qualify. Okay.
Guys, how much time after the event itself do you have? Is it 24 or 48 hours? What is that?
It should be 3 days, and it's
3
3
days.
business days.
Okay. So you got 3 business days from the time of that class to get the 2 enrollments for that to count as a class for you.
Good to know.
You really want to maximize those days. Not that you want to, but just as FYI, if you have a class on Friday, then you don't, Saturday and Sunday don't count. And then you have Monday, Tuesday, and then until midnight on Wednesday. So, FYI.
Awesome.
Midnight Mountain Standard Time, right? Is everything based off of Mountain Standard?
That's what
Good to know these things.
That's what it used to be. I
Yes.
could be wrong. Every once in a while, I don't know if things have changed, but before when I was entering things for Diamond Club, sometimes the website, it's like closing out the month, right? I don't trust to wait till the very end because
Yeah, I always operate off of Mountain Standard Time, because then if it's on Pacific, then I just have a little window, you know, and we're safe. But they don't end it earlier than Mountain Standard for sure. They're not going to call it on East or Central Time.
if you ever do, I did have some times where I went to enter things and then something went wrong or whatever, and I would just email them and say, hey, I missed the deadline by 15 minutes because the computer was glitching, and they were always good with it. So it's not like the end of the world. So.
And those Diamond Club reps, they'll work with you. Remember, email them with questions. It's diamondclub@doterra.com. Hey, let's get to some more strategy in what you're going to do and your plans and any other questions you have that are kind of keeping if you have clarity, then you have certainty and you have power. So let's make sure you're going into this with full power. Anybody have like specific situations that we could go through? I think that would be super helpful.
I don't have a question, but I have a tip that I've always found really helpful. If you schedule all of your absolute minimum requirements in the first 2 weeks of the month, you will find that you will be much less burnt out through Diamond Club. And so if you're somebody that's wanting to do at least 4 events, get those scheduled from the 1st to the 15th and have those done. And then you've got 2 weeks left to get the rest of the things that may not come through as we plan. Those of us who in the past have done Diamond Club and didn't have a strategy like that, it can get very, very tiring very quickly, and that's not the point.
Love it. So be on top of that, on top of your game, schedule it all for the 1st to the 15th, and then you can bring it and fill whatever holes, if there's any other holes, or double it. Thank you, Stephanie. Stephanie, Angela, Katie, Terese, you've all done this before. So other tips that you have heard, seen, lived?
I'll say if I was doing it all again, what I did not get last time, and I think you guys touched on this a little bit earlier, is just that preparation so that they're actually ready to enroll at the class. Because in the past, you know, sometimes the class had been one of their first touch points in, you know, our regular sharing doTERRA process. And so just re-engineering that so that it's almost like they just can't wait to register until they get to the class. So for us, that was a lot of sampling, right? Sharing, hey, what health concerns do you have? Let's see if we can come up with some solutions, giving them a sample for that, letting them try that, just backing that whole process up so that the class becomes the enrollment.
I love that. And if you can help your teams know that, that's going to help the way everything is set up. So make sure that we know that those touches need to happen, right? We know that that's where the magic happens. So get those done ahead of time. This can be just that. Basically, it's just the funnel. It's just this detail that they go to just so they can get that special, right? They've almost been prepared with a little mini class or a one-on-one from their person, and they're just going through the motions almost to get that enrollment special by coming to your class.
So I just have a couple things that I've learned. This will be my 4th Diamond Club. So
oh my gosh, Terese, you are for sure ninja by now.
I'm really excited for this round because it's completely different than all the other rounds I've done. But some of the things I've learned for sure is to prep your host big time. So sometimes I wasn't very good in my first couple rounds there. So really prepping them, being on top of them, you know, reminding them today's the day to do your follow-up, follow up again. How did that go? All of that makes a huge difference. The other thing that I did too with the leaders that I was going, I mean, I was traveling before, but when I would travel, we would set goals with each of them before, you know, at the beginning of Diamond Club too. So over these next 4 months, what are your goals? And I try to make it more that this isn't my program and I'm trying to win prizes. It's that I'm there to help them learn and grow. And that made a big difference this last round when they had specific goals and it wasn't just they were doing it for me, it was that I was doing it for them. So that made a big difference.
I love that. I think it's really easy for this to become your contest, right? You're in Diamond Club. This can easily become your thing really fast, and everyone else can feel a little bit like alienated and I'm not so into, you know, what Terese is into right now if we make it about us. But when you remember who it's really about, right? It's really about them. And so find out their why, their goals, and then you can help bring those hosts back to that, right? Bring your builders back to that again and again and again. And you're going to need to keep planting that, right? When you're doing the follow-up, like, today's the day to make that happen by. I'm so excited because what you do right now is going to help you get your husband home like you want to do, or whatever it is their why is, right? So keep planning that, keep reminding them, because that's going to help them show up. Terese, I love that. Super key. What else, Terese?
One thing I love is that I think doTERRA has really seen what worked well with Diamond Club and maybe some things that needed tweaking. And I'm so excited about this round because the first 2 rounds of Diamond Club, it was all about me. Like, they weren't allowed to put any enrollments through. I was the only one that was allowed to put enrollments through. I had to put them through the portal, the whole bit. And the problem with those 2 rounds is Diamond Club was over and my leaders were still, you know, needing to hold my hand, and they still needed me to do those things, where I love how they have it set up now so we can really just train and coach and give our leaders, you know, the ability to really do it themselves so they can do their own enrollments. Yes, absolutely have them do their own wellness consults, you know, and really just train them. And I think if you do that and you have good communication, you're going to soar. And for me, I was never looking to win the top prize. I always had a goal to help my leaders in what their goals were. And 3 out of the 4 diamond clubs I did, 3 out of the 4. No, this will be my 4th. So 2 out of the 3 that I've done in the past, I ended in the top 25 just doing that, not keeping my eye on the prize, just on what I was trying to grow with my team. So I think that's important. So don't get hung up on the standings and your points. As long as you're meeting your qualifications, pay attention to what you're really trying to grow with your team.
I love that, because if you get to the end and you haven't empowered those people or those leaders, like you got the booby prize, right?
Absolutely.
And you got caught up in the contest and missed the real prize in here, which is developing those leaders and really coming out of this. If on every trip I watch people lose sight of that, and what I usually see is they start doing classes and classes and classes just to turn up those enrollment numbers, but they forget the trainings. So to me, every time you're somewhere for a class, you are making sure you're training those builders. You are eating lunch together. You're answering those questions. You are doing those business overviews with the build guide after every class. You're enrolling more builders. You're training those builders every time. So don't let that slip.
Could you post the link for your Diamond Club planner that you have on the Share Success webpage?
Yeah, so Laura is posting the brand new one right now, and that's what I'm going to post here. But if we don't have it by the end of this call, it's going to go into that Diamond Club page, okay? So just make sure you're in there, and that's where I'll post the graphics and the planner, okay?
I wanted to say along the lines of what Terese said. When I did Diamond Club, I, asked my leaders like, hey, is this something that you want me to do? Because back then it was Travel City, right? And I said, I'm willing to do this and come travel and teach with you and teach you if you're interested. And I always felt like the whole purpose, like my true real purpose, was I was doing it for them. And were there benefits coming to me? For sure. That was not why I was in it. The other thing that's really beautiful for your leaders is that Diamond Club season matches up with the doTERRA incentive trip, right? And so, you could talk to your leaders and say, hey, you want to go on the incentive trip this year? I don't know, Nat, they haven't announced where it's at yet. Is that right?
But they will at leadership.
Yeah. And if so, then really, get on a plan to help them do that. And that's how Jeanette ended up going to Hawaii, is because she was one of the people I visited during Diamond Club, and she wanted to go and she dialed in on that. So I would vote to get them excited about doTERRA's incentive trip because it matches up just perfectly.
That's a great connection and a great way for them to see how this is making a difference for them.
So Natalie, can I? Oh,
go ahead, Heather. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering, because we haven't done the whole thing before. Sorry, ladies who are super pro Diamond Clubbers. With the portal, thanks, Terese, for sharing that. I just assumed that we did enter everything. So that's super exciting to know that they do that. So is there any more to know about what that looks like or how the process goes if we have qualifying enrollments? Whoever has them just goes, we give them a login and they go do it. Is it self-explanatory?
Oh, it is so easy now. There's no portal. You just enroll them like you normally would.
Oh.
But before you check out, there's a promo code. So everybody should have your unique promo code, and that will automatically have them attached to you, and they'll get their free oil.
Whoa, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Love it.
From those of us that were doing Diamond Club back in the day of horse and wagon, you guys better appreciate this.
We do. So Natalie,
yep.
So I was just wondering if we could just kind of recap what benefit I can tell my leaders it is for me to attend a class. what is that going to do for them? Of course, I'm going to be there to support, maybe help teach, whatever. But what else? What
Really
is
quick,
this
this
good
is
for
what it
them?
might sound like, wow, because I'm in Diamond Club right now, and if I attend your class, we can offer the incentive of them getting the Citrus Bliss with everything up to 300 PV initial order. They'll get that for free. And they can get the adaptive for anything over 300 PV on their enrollment. So they'll get Citrus Bliss and adaptive. And besides that, when they sign up for 100 plus PV LRP, they can get 25 product points added to their account. So, you know, they have all of those options given to them just as an added bonus. That's really what the value that you're bringing.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that helps. And so
Okay.
that helps them because it incentivizes their people to get to at least 100 PV, or is it 200 to get the Citrus Bliss?
100.
Yeah, so it incentivizes their people too.
Right. That's just helping them kind of close the deal. So you're helping them close the deal by throwing in a few more incentives, right? And they are just getting that benefit.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are going to become famous, right? You know that people are like, hey, who's doing Diamond Club, right? Your leaders are going to be, oh my goodness, Julie, can you come to my house on Tuesday? And the other leader's going to want you to, and you might have to be at one class at 7 and then the other class at 8:30 or whatever, just to fit it all in.
I
So,
just can't wait to tell Kirk Brown he gets to start going too.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm gonna, I know it's going to happen.
I am excited for that day. I want to see the pictures, Julie.
Yes.
Okay. There he goes. You know, you guys, I want to remind you, I loved what Terese said about her landing in the top 25, but she did that not paying attention every day to, oh my gosh, where am I on the standings, but just head down, doing the right thing with her team, and it worked out. Okay. So these prizes are pretty big, and I love that you have the option of doing them, right? Like they're giving away, I mean, like the top almost 100 are going to get a bonus of 2,500 or more. Like Terese with this one, she would have gotten a $5,000 bonus, right? So they've really added in a lot more cash to the prizes, and I love that. And remember, this top 200 get to go on the sourcing trip. And this is not like bring your husband, it's like 200 people, right? But this is a great opportunity for you to have a sourcing experience and to get that footage and share it with your team and share the whole experience. Like it's just a time where you get to feel it for yourself.
It's going to be so fun to go together too, all of us. We totally could all make top 200. We totally can do it. So it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah. That's amazing. What other strategy? Any other strategy? Like, oh my goodness, I have these teams and I don't know where to focus first, or anything else that way?
I don't have anything that way, but I'm just thinking to pair together the savings or I mean the value of the free things, but then really attach it to that 200 kit. It's so perfect with the diffuser and then the bigger bottles of oils, right? And all the combined savings, and like this is the way to go. I know it'd be nice to have people move into the natural solutions, but this seems more realistic with all the the freebies and stuff. So, I mean, having some sort of image that's got all of that, like get this and get all of this, and savings is like, whoa, so huge. You know?
So maybe we make one with that new kit and one add-on to get to the 300 or something like that.
Yeah, because they get with the Citrus Bliss Adaptive and 25 points, which we'll just say $25, right? That's $80.50 that they're getting in freebies, and then whatever the value of the kit is, because it's under wholesale, like that's a whole lot.
Yeah. So our sticker, our little sticker of all the savings off of wholesale is big.
Yeah.
So maybe we just do that 200 PV kit, the new one, the kit on the fly, whatever that one's called. And then we'll throw the Natural Solutions kit and just have those right next to each other. So that could be a nice little comparison thing. One of the things that we sometimes get too into in doTERRA is like up to 100 PV, you get this, and up to 200, like most people just don't think like that. So if you are actually closing people, you want a clear mind. The confused mind says no. So the more clear we can make this close with these type of images, and maybe you guys are printing them out, right, at a class, so they've got it straight in front of them and that offering.
Where is the new kit, Natalie? I'm not finding it.
That we're going to add the image in the Facebook group after a minute. It should be, Sharon, it should be in the team app on the Diamond page by now, but they didn't have it in on Friday.
Okay, and it's not on
And
doTERRA
are you
yet. I was
saying?
just looking there, so.
It is, you guys remember that, you know, we used to be able to just like upsell to that 250 kit, and it was 3 times the oil for less than twice the price. So that was really a big hit when they dropped that kit. And so we went back to them, and doTERRA created this kit again, and it's amazing. But this kit is a little bit different than your Family Essentials kit. Okay, so it's got balance instead of frankincense. It's got, what were the other changes? Sharon, I might have to find it in the team.
Is it the Essentials Enrollment Kit?
Is that, does it say 250 or 200?
Nat.
Yeah.
I think it's Adaptive and Copaiba.
That's it. Thank you,
It's
Jenny.
It's on the homepage of the doTERRA website.
Is it up already?
Amazing, yeah, but I don't see a price. It's called the.
It's $250.
50.
I have it in front of me.
So it's 250 with a 200 PV. So it's a good deal.
It's $249 if you want to know the whole.
Thank you, and
Just so I
great.
might not, you know.
So I love that it's on doTERRA.com.
Now on the flyer that has like all the things that you know, could ever get. The other thing is we kind of do have a different version of the flyer the 1st through the 15th of every month, because that has, you know, the product of the month, right? The Palmarosa for this month that they get added into like all the things that you get. And then if they have another special for the end of the month, we have that or whatever. So that's also something that we want to bundle in together in those pictures, right? For them to look at one thing.
For sure. Good thinking. I can't even stand it. I want to sign up.
I know. Post and pre and post the 15th. But here's the kit right here. You can see it. So all the 15 mils besides the deep blue. But they're getting Copaiba and Adaptive, which was 2 big draws. And they're getting this amazing diffuser with a lot more output than the little small diffuser that's in the basic 150 kit. So this kit's called Healthy Essentials. So the one thing that you need to position with this, and you need to remember, is that people are going to be, now that Adaptive's in this kit, right? So you're still having to build the bridge of like, okay, so you want Citrus Bliss because that's going to be amazing in your diffuser. Experience that, right? And citrus bliss is one of my most favorite to diffuse. But then adaptive, maybe they have somebody that's having depression or anxiety issues, and they want to be able to use that for them. Maybe they want to give one bottle of adaptive to a child to have in their pocket all the time, and maybe they want one there in the house that they can diffuse and that they can use there at home. So make sure and build the case for those two adaptives, so they don't see it as just, well, I don't really need the adaptive, so I'm not going up to the 300 PV. Does that make sense?
Good idea.
Love where you're going. We'll drop the that planner into that Facebook page as soon as we've got it. And you'll also find, Sharon is hooking us up. She also got the link for adding your spouse. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
The Facebook is up and going, everyone, too. So I dropped the link in there. So make sure to look at that. And then I did invite a few of you that I knew last names of. So go ahead and look at that. But it's all up and running. And I posted the image that doTERRA had for the March 2020 incentive for Diamond Club this month. So that's on there already, so that you can use that for the time being until we get that image to you. And then I also put the link to the spouse, like the adding the spouse. And then we'll put the call on there as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
I know. Thanks for bringing it.
Hey, Natalie, Jared was just making a comment that we wouldn't be able to include the Palmarosa, right? Because isn't that only on the LRP?
Yeah. So that's why, so we can just keep it simple, and that's for your people going forward. Good call. Jared, it's like you've been doing doTERRA for years or something.
I'm bringing it strong today.
I love it.
Sorry, what I was thinking about that is sometimes, like, if it's the deep blue special and doTERRA has ordered 200 points and you get a deep blue rub and a deep blue oil, in those cases, those get added into the free things that you get.
Yes. So nothing else like that in March, but I do like, for example, if it's a good monthly special, we'll make sure that gets on there. Like, for example, I think anybody that hasn't tried the peppermint soft gels should be shot, possibly. They're so amazing. And doTERRA's not just putting them 10% off, they're 15% off. So I think this one should probably go on there so that people can see, oh, hey, I want to throw that on my order because it's 15% off. Even, and that works for an enrollment order. Just like it's working. If it's some other random thing that just doesn't need to be considered, like the Yarrow Palm from last month, that needed to be considered in that 200 PV order. That's super relevant. So we'll try and keep the noise down, right? Keep the noise down when they're making that enrollment choice. Keep the options clear, but let them know about those key offerings. So, any last questions, guys? Okay. It's gonna be a great week. I'm so excited that you've all taken the leap to do Diamond Club, that you're jumping in. And to me, this is such a powerful way to show your team, to put it on the line, to just get out there and do what's required. This turns up the IPing so much, right? You're inviting, presenting, and enrolling. This is just turning it up on your team. And so the outcomes are going to be amazing. Get clear, drop into this Diamond Club planner. I recommend that you just take a couple hours to get your strategy and get your plan. I love this quote I saw on the Harvard Business Review this last week. It said, 1 hour of planning saves you 200 execution errors. And boy, we could all save a lot of those execution hours. So be investing right now in that prepare stage. Do the planning, carve out that time right now, today, tomorrow, to make that happen. And then you're gonna, you know the outcomes that you want. You know what you're searching for, what you're seeking. Make sure and be developing leaders along the way, because that's what's going to sustain and be there long after June 30th, right, of this year. I'm so excited for you. Have a beautiful week. We'll meet you here, same time, same place, next Monday. And we'll be watching that Facebook group in the interim. I'm so excited. This is a great thing to cheer each other on in. So cheer each other on as well. And we'll keep the group tight and intimate. Bring any questions. Again, specific questions, strategy questions as you're going out in there, as you're planning. Those we can really all learn a lot from. So bring it, speak up. We love you. Go get them.
Thank
You're
you,
a diamond
Natalie.
ninja. Thank you.
Thanks,
Ciao.
Natalie.
Love you.
Thanks. See you guys. Thank you. Natalie, we're still staying on, right? For our call.